Any idea who that is? It's not Mr. Hanky. I have no idea who that is.
Mr. Potato Head?
Yeah, it must be, mustn't it?
I don't think it is, though.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Okay, fine.
Who else is that knows?
That was Astro Boy.
No, it's not. It's Jack Jack.
Oh. Incredibles.
From The Incredibles.
Right.
Alvin. Are they next to Simon and Theodore by any chance?
You know their names.
Alvin, Simon and Theodore. Oh, they're not, but yeah, that's other names. Freddy Krueger?
No, that's the guy with the claw hand. From Friday the 13th.
Then no.
Hello and welcome to PodcastFTL on GFTL on YouTube. Thanks for listening. How are you doing, Chris?
Yeah, I'm right.
Good.
Pretty good.
You've got some things you want to talk about this week.
I did remember some stuff. Let's hope I can actually remember them.
Okay, cool.
What about you?
I think we should start off with what we were actually just doing. 'Cause I don't know what it was, but it was some iPhone game.
Yeah, it's one of the many iPhone games where you essentially you're given some sort of icon or logo, and you have to identify who it is or what it represents or something. There's loads of them. I've got the logo quiz, which does things like brands, and I've got the footballer quiz, and I've got the football club quiz, and now I've got the film and TV quiz.
All right.
There's millions of them, probably.
It was pretty good. They just showed us minimalistic pictures of characters and TV logos, didn't they?
Yeah, and it's quite surprising the ones that you can look at and think, oh, actually, I think I actually know that one. And at the same time, the ones that you look at and don't have a clue of. But then once you find the answer, are actually obvious. A bit like sort of Mr. Bean, I never thought I'd get.
That was just a spotlight, wasn't it?
Yeah, because the beginning of the cartoons was a spotlight, and he sort of appears in it.
Really? Oh, okay,
Yeah.
cool.
So, yeah, it's decent. It's on one of this week's top 25 most downloaded apps.
Awesome.
So,
Is Curiosity in that list by any chance?
no, not anymore. It was. I shall see how curious. It's every time I go on it, it's a different layer being removed.
Yeah.
Cube still looks pretty big though.
Yeah.
So, it's being removed.
Are you sure it's not just being scaled?
What do you mean?
Well, because obviously, as it gets smaller,
no, yeah, but it's
you
still
zoom in on it.
Yeah, but it still feels like you're zooming in the same sort of amount. So even if you think that looks the same, you still zoom in.
What's getting destroyed here? The blue one or the brown one?
Before you get to the blue that needs to be destroyed. It's a blue layer. It's not as much as it was, obviously, but there's still plenty of cubes left to get rid of on that.
Did you ever estimate a date at which this would be finished?
No, I never actually did predict it because it's very difficult to predict, and you'd have to look at sort of trends, and it's more work than I can be bothered to do, to be honest.
It's a good thing you were trying to get a job then, isn't it?
Exactly. But I also downloaded Flick Golf, that's also at the top, which is pretty good. And also, because it's the 1st of December today, an Advent app, which when you unlock a day, so today's 1st of December, you play a little game. So today's game was you had to try and destroy a cookie in as quick time as possible.
Right.
So each day is another mini game, and then it suggests to you a app to download.
Oh, really?
And it will do 25 over Christmas. And I really hope that sort of when it gets to Christmas Day, the app is like maybe a relatively
free chocolate.
Well, no, I was going to go with like a reasonably expensive app that for one day, if you've downloaded this previous one, you get it free. Not reasonably expensive, but something you'd normally have to pay for.
That would be nice. That would be a nice treat.
It would be a nice touch, rather than rather than just being your standard. So here we are. We've got to crack the biscuit. So you tap it to crack it, and then you have to crack all the pieces.
That sounds rubbish.
And then it suggested Shrooms 2. Winter Sessions. I've never played Shrooms, if I'm honest.
But yeah, Curiosity. Because there was a picture on it last time I saw it.
Yeah, his game. It
What was
used
the
to be
picture?
solid colours. There was sort of writing, and there was a game advertisement for another 22 Cans game.
Goddess?
Yes, I think that's.
I've had a look at their Kickstarter for Goddess. What they're trying to do is recreate a game that Peter Molyneux is very famous for. It was his first major game called Populous.
Right.
What they're doing is making a modern version of that and kind of black and white. You've played black and white,
Yeah.
haven't you? Yeah. So they're doing another God game. And if you look at their Kickstarter, they've got some very, very pretty art work for it. It's, you know, where each surface doesn't have like shadows on it. It's just a flat surface with a single flat colour.
Yeah.
It's like that, and I think it looks really awesome.
Right.
But that's only concept art. And the videos they've done, where one of the 22 Cans guys talks to Peter Molyneux about all the ideas that he's had to go into this game, they haven't had any actual videos or pictures from the game. It's all been concept artwork and videos of Peter Molyneux talking about the ideas and talking to the people who've been talking to him on NeoGAF, which is like a forum website.
Okay.
And basically, people that pledge money to his Kickstarter get to suggest ideas, and
That's the heating, is it not? Was it the heating?
no, it's a drill.
It's a drill. Building work taking place in the podcast FTL studio,
My house,
which is your house.
my bedroom.
Now
Might have to wait until this is over.
we'd power through. Sure, it won't be too bad. Anyway, I think we should move on from Curiosity.
Yeah, I was doing Goddess.
Oh yeah.
So people... We'll wait until it's time.
It's a beautiful sound.
Yeah, it's great. It's my favourite sound. I've got a load of things. That's nothing to do with this. That was a wet one.
So, Goddess, yes.
People can...
Brilliant. So
People-
Goddess.
People can suggest ideas or queries about the game that they're interested in. And what's been going on is Peter Molyneux's been putting up videos of answering those questions, but there's not been any gameplay. So what
okay.
I suggest, if anyone wants to look at it, it does look really cool, and I would be interested in a new Black and White, to be honest. Black and White 2 was a bit iffy. I mean, it was alright, but it wasn't as amazing and simply awe-inspiring as Black and White 1.
No.
So, if anyone wants to donate, I would suggest waiting until they put up some gameplay. Because if they don't put out a
if it
demo
turns out
by
that-
the end of it, they will definitely have some gameplay. Because
Otherwise, you can pledge as much as you want to the game, but if you don't know what it looks like while it's being played,
Yeah.
then you don't know if it's your sort of thing.
yeah, and at the moment they're almost at £200,000 and they need 450. So they're almost halfway there, but
I think so. Once
just take a good look at it and think about it.
so, do you
'cause-
think once they get some gameplay up, it will sort of shoot up a bit quicker?
Yeah, definitely. Because when they put it up, I'm convinced I will pledge, because I know Peter Molyneux can deliver, but it's just a matter of being proven to me. I think that's what I want. And so far they've got most of their money from people who have gone, oh yeah, Peter Molyneux put out some really good games, like when he worked at Bullfrog. I really enjoyed that. And I think they're working on this nostalgia factor at the moment, but by the end of the thing they'll probably have met their goal, and
Okay.
because they've got like 20 days left, so yeah, they'll have enough time. They'll get the money,
That's good.
almost certainly.
Okay.
And I don't know if anyone's followed me on Twitter or anything, but every now and then I tweet about my blog, which is gftl.tumblr.com.
Mm-hmm.
And on there I put up what I've been up to and videos and Game Jar articles and things I put up there, which is, it's kind of cool. And I have put up a post that contains a screenshot of the game I'm making. It's basically a rip-off of Spacewar, but at the moment I'm learning how to use all the features of Construct 2, which is a 2D game engine, and it's all right. I don't know, I've had problems with things like movement and physics and things, because
the general sort
work.
of movement of firing, the main stuff is there, just needs the tweaking.
Yeah. I've actually added more to it since
I've last seen it.
Since Chris has seen it last.
You could probably get away. You could stick it out as it is, and you'd get some vague playing on it, and you'd be able to play it.
Well, the thing is, it's not finished.
No, but
and the problem is, I'm using the inbuilt sprites, so they're like free ones, like royalty free ones that come with it. So I don't want to use them because as good as they look, I want the entire game to be my own. Obviously, the idea isn't mine, but it'd be nice to actually have a complete game that I made entirely by myself.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
And obviously, it will be free wherever I put it up. So it most likely it'll get hosted on the Game Jar or hosted on something like Congregate, and then embedded into the Game Jar, because I intend on writing an article about
making games.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah,
and about the game that I made. So it'll be interesting to see. So Chris, you have last week you made predictions about who would win F1. I think you were wrong, weren't you?
No, I wasn't wrong.
You were partly wrong.
No. I've got to say, we last week was the final week, and I genuinely thought my friend Tom was going to win, because me and him were tied on point going into the last round. It was very, very close, and we were all set. We all made our predictions. And the qualifying was at about 4:00, and from 3:00 onwards, I was more or less, most of the time, my phone was out with the F1 car. I was travelling, but I had my phone. I drained my phone dead, just constantly keeping an eye on any information that's coming out about what qualifying was going to be like. And then when it got to the final part of qualifying. So there were 10 cars in there. We could only score a maximum of 9 points, I think it was, in the last one, because someone had already gone out, or it might have even been less than that. And my phone just kept... I had the live feed of the thing, and Facebook kept popping up or texts from the people who was all doing the predictions as well, just coming up with, "Oh my god, I've never been so nervous." It was all genuinely really tense. And in the last 2 minutes of qualifying, Facebook and my phone, because my phone, of course, the stream was slightly behind.
Oh,
and
right.
My friends watching it on TV. So I was getting texts and things. I was like, I can't look at it just in case and then, because I've the one who's done the spreadsheet, so I bought an app so that I could have a version of Excel on my phone so that I could adapt the spreadsheet from there. It was, it turns out the person who was losing and had been last for the majority of it won.
He won?
Yes. He scored an impressive... In fact, I've got the spreadsheet. He scored...
Because you had 20 points?
Going into the last round, it was very
close at the top, and then...
very close at the top. Well, it was originally. The week before, with 2 weeks left, it was sort of... You thought to yourself, either Chris or Tom are going to win. And then the USA Grand Prix came along, and the person in last place got 4 points.
Oh, yeah.
And rocketed up. And it was very... It got very close very quick. And then I found a problem in the spreadsheet, which when I fixed, it got even closer.
Oh, really?
Because I who was leading and someone who was third, we had been given one more point than we should have done, and someone had been given one less points. So going into the last race, me and my friend Tom were tied at the top.
Right.
And if it was a tie, it went down to how many pole positions you got right, and that could have gone on for a long time. And then it ended with me and my friend Hyan. We both had 23 points, but he had more pole positions than me. And then Tom, who was winning, Tom went for a risky strategy, and 0.055 seconds stopped Tom winning the whole thing.
Oh.
Him and Alex were tied in second on 22, but Tom ended up coming dead last just because him and Alex had the same number of pole positions, but Alex had more second positions. It got so close, but I must say, we were all, we were so tense, and it's been a lot of fun all season. Next year, I'm gonna try and make it a bit more, so that maybe do it more like a fantasy Formula One league. So maybe like each week
you choose a team.
You pick 2 drivers, a team. You could even go as far to say you pick an engine supplier. So if you've got those 4 things, and then depending where the engine supplier goes, like where the engine suppliers score points, you can get some points from that.
What for constructor?
Yeah, and then the team. So say you picked Jenson Button, Sebastian Vettel, Williams F1 team, and Mercedes.
Mm-hmm.
Then you get, say, a quarter of all the points Mercedes gets, and then you get half the points of all your constructor gets, and then you get the correct points for your driver gets. Something like that. Similar to a fantasy football team where you get a certain amount of points depending on how football players do. So I'm tempted to do that. And then, of course, I've seen fantasy Formula One leagues where they've had that you pick sort of a home track, and then when that track comes along, you get double
seconds.
points or something like that.
Oh, right.
So, but we're figuring it out. It's a lot of fun. So I hope we do it next year with
Awesome.
more people. So
Yeah, that'd be cool.
just a shame I didn't win. I've got to say, we were all slightly gutted, but at the same time, I think we were all slightly I think me and Tom especially were probably relieved that the other one of us didn't win, and that Hyan was the one that beat us both, rather than,
Yeah.
there was the point just before qualifying where I texted Tom just saying, I'm going to wait for you to put yours up, because if we get the same, you beat me. And he was like, maybe I'm waiting for you to put yours up. So it was very competitive, but it was good fun.
Yeah. So Vettel did win.
I
can't remember whether it was you that said it, but I'm going to ask you anyway. Would you agree with the fact that Vettel is an okay driver, but the reason that he won is because of his car?
He's a incredibly talented driver. He has had a brilliant car. The problem with this season is the 2 people who in the last race could have been world champion wouldn't have been there if it wasn't for a lot of luck.
Right. Yeah.
It's not like the previous years where Vettel has had the quickest car and he's just sped through and not been challenged. It's been Lewis Hamilton especially must be kicking himself, because if all the times he didn't finish, if he had scored points, or like all the times he was in first position and had a mechanical problem or a slow pit stop and lost points, if he'd been fine in all those cases, then it's not only the fact he would have had more points, but those points went to Sebastian Vettel or Fernando Alonso. So it came down to who was luckiest. And really, in the last race, Alonso was very lucky. Vettel was very unlucky and managed to pull it back. This year he's shown that he's genuinely a good driver and not just have a quick car.
Yeah.
It was last year when everyone was saying, well, he's always led from the front. How do we know he can do anything but that? And this year he's shown he can. So
Yeah, I guess so.
it's very close. Just got to wait till next year now.
Yeah. I mean, ultimately, you want to work for Williams, so...
You say that like you've known this a long time when I told you like 20 minutes ago.
No, I just couldn't remember when I asked you.
Okay.
I knew you wanted to work for a team, but I can't remember the team names very often. So you want to work for Williams, right?
Ultimately,
Why? Yeah.
Because
I mean,
think
they don't win that often. Well,
No,
I mean, that
not
doesn't have to
recently.
be a part
I
of
mean,
it, but...
if you look sort of if you look into like the past and history and stuff like that, then McLaren have an amazing history with cars.
Mm-hmm.
Ferrari, F1 wouldn't be F1 without Ferrari. Mercedes were there at the beginning. They've only just come back in, but they were there at the very beginning of the sport. But I just Frank Williams, who owns the team,
Makes sense.
is an inspiration. I mean, he was paralysed. He's been paralysed for many years after a car accident. He's still at every race
Mm-hmm.
in a wheelchair. He's a very old man now. He's still there at every race in charge of the team. His daughter's just taking over more roles. And I just love that. I love the team. I love Frank Williams. Some of their past cars have been sort of when more computer technology came into the sport. They were the first to really nail it down and start winning world champions with it. You've got to admire the fact that Senna, although Senna died in a Williams when he died in his crash,
Mm-hmm.
since then every single Williams car has had the Senna Foundation logo on it. Even when he wasn't driving, and then this year his nephew's been driving for them, but whether there's a Senna in the car or not, they've stuck with that for years, and I really respect. If there's a team, I reckon if you ask a lot of drivers, if there's a team out of them that you respect, if you respect Williams, teams come and go, and there are a few that are going to be in the sport. For you, a few that when you say, "Oh, who's going to be in next season?" McLaren, Ferrari, Williams are going to be there. It wouldn't be F1 without them.
Nice.
Also, at the moment, they're not doing great, and I love an underdog. Love an underdog. So,
Okay. Awesome.
anyway, moving on. Neil Patrick Harris.
Neil Patrick Harris has released a new series on YouTube, has he not?
Yes, a web series called Neil Patrick Harris's Dreams.
It's so funny.
He's
Well,
brilliant.
I mean, the puppets are amazing, and I don't know who else is in it, because I don't know who does the puppets or anything.
No, I don't know who does puppets either.
But it's Neil Patrick Harris, his partner...
Whose name I still can't remember.
Can't remember his name.
I want to say his name is David, but I'm not sure.
He's in it.
I'll look it up. But yeah, and it's really funny.
It's
and
really quite good.
The description of it all as well is like get into the mind of one of the weirdest, darkest puppeteers or something. It's just
It's really quite cool as well, because the whole premise of the show is that Neil Patrick Harris dreams in puppets.
Yeah.
And at the beginning of the first episode, he's talking to his babies off screen. He's like, "Oh, go to sleep. I need to go to bed." And then he just goes and slams his head on the floor.
Yeah.
And then he has a dream about falling.
Yeah, the description is, "Welcome to the brain of one of the sickest puppeteers ever encountered, Neil Patrick Harris." And it has the lyrics of the song that they sing as well.
Oh, awesome. Well, don't spoil it.
No, I'll just read 2 lines of the song. It shouldn't give too much away.
Yeah.
Just 2 lines are, "Your limbs will snap off and your organs will burst. You'll look like an art piece by Damien Hirst." It's very it's very good, very clever as well. It reminds me of a. I know you don't watch 30 Rock, but there was a bit on.
I should. You keep on saying to.
Yeah, there's an episode. There's a character called Kenneth who I can't remember the actor who plays him, but
Neil Patrick Harris.
No,
Oh.
he's played by. He's in a few films. He's in The Campaign, which I recently. He's in Talladega Nights. He's in a lot of other stuff.
Ricky Bobby.
Yeah, I think you'd recognise him. There's a episode where Alec Baldwin just says, "Oh, Kenneth, I really wish I could get into your mind and see how you see the world." And then it turns out Kenneth sees the world as puppets.
Brilliant.
And everything's all very happy and jolly. And
I like episodes like that. Like the one in Community where everything's in stop motion.
Everything's stop motion, yeah. It's brilliant. And it reminded me of that, which I really I really love that. So, but I recommend watching it. I don't know I can't remember when I watched it for the first time. I think it was Monday. I think they're maybe at Mondays or Tuesdays.
Right.
So I recommend. We'll put a link in the description to the first episode.
We'll definitely link it. It's brilliant.
Oh, very funny. There's a behind the scenes as well, which I haven't watched yet.
All right.
So I might watch that at some point, just to see what's to come, and it might be quite good.
Yeah. What have I just turned you on to, Chris? I turned you on.
Archer is
Danger Zone.
Fantastic. People who don't know it, is it a current ongoing thing? It started
there's
in 2009.
not a season on at the moment, but there will be another one.
Okay, it started in 2009, and it's about a spy called Archer, who is the son of a lady who runs the spy business, ISIS it's called, and it's good. It's one
Archer's just the biggest spy douchebag. He's James Bond.
But he's a massive douchebag.
The old-fashioned
We're not
James
getting into
Bond.
that again.
The oldfashioned James. He's like that.
No, he's more of a douchebag.
He is. Yeah, exactly. That's my point. He's the biggest James Bond douchebag, and he's womanizing, but in the most horrible way.
Yeah. And there are lots of in the first episode, you focus more on him, but as you get through, I'm only on episode 6 of the first series.
Yeah,
and the stuff you learn about the secretaries and the human resources, all of the general staff characters are sick and
disgusting. Yeah,
disturbed.
they're depraved. They're all pretty douchebag kind of characters.
Yeah, they're all very
brilliant.
Yeah. But it's very entertaining, I must say. It's
shit snacks.
I can successfully add it to the list of things I'll have to watch when the new series comes out.
Yeah, definitely.
It is thoroughly entertaining.
So that's 2 recommendations we've got.
That's 2. That's NPH Dreams and Archer. I've already recommended Community.
Yeah.
You know, we're good at this recommending stuff.
I could do it all day.
Although it's not often we recommend stuff that's brand new out that not many people have seen. Oh, quickly back on NPH.
Mm-hmm.
I have now. I think he is the one celebrity who I have directly tweeted 3 times now.
Oh, really?
I would love NPH to tweet me back. I think I'd cry. Genuinely love him. I think he's one of the funniest, slightly warped sense of humour, but generally hilarious and probably generally nicest guys.
I haven't actually followed him on Twitter, I don't think. So.
I followed him quite a lot. I followed him a while ago, and he tweeted.
Sound like a stalker now.
He tweeted. Well, whenever you say that you follow anyone on Twitter, if you don't mention Twitter, you say, "Oh, I've been following him for years." It's a bit creepy. But yeah,
I was one of the first.
Yeah. And he tweeted a lot during the election.
Yeah.
Because he was very much for the Barack Obama, because Barack Obama's not going to repress the gays.
Makes sense.
Yeah, makes sense. He just generally seems like a nice guy as well. And yeah. So if NPH happens to stumble across this podcast, if NPH reads the description of this podcast and sees that it says, we talk about NPH in this episode, and he goes, "Oh, give it a listen." Then NPH is Chris Code 4491. If you tweet me, I'll cry. I'll genuinely cry out of happiness. I'll take a photo of myself crying and put it on Twitter.
Oh dear. That's never going to happen, but it'd be nice.
No, it's not going to happen. I can dream. I can
You should
dream.
tweet him the podcast. I'm sure he'd love it. He wouldn't.
No,
he wouldn't listen.
No, he wouldn't listen.
Just two twats with a microphone.
No. Yeah,
That's what the podcast should have been
Or
called.
two twats and a microphone.
Two twats, one microphone.
Small story. At work the other day, we have little breaks, and we looked through. Just to clarify, I work. I won't name the company or anything. I work at a company who ring up people, one of those, telephone companies. And we were talking about like entertaining names that we come across. At which point, someone said that they spent a day searching the database, because you can search for names, for any rude word they could find. And there are plenty of Mr. Twats, Mr. Bastard, Mr. Cockburn. There's a Mr. Cockburn in particular who, if you say, "Oh, hello, is that Mr. Cockburn?" he will hang up on you. You have to say, "Is that Mr. Coburn?" I think it's in his notes on his file. But you have to refer to him as Mr. Coburn, otherwise, you're not a happy bunny.
No?
And yeah, apparently someone someone said to me that because the system generates a person. Gets a profile randomly up for you.
Oh, right, okay.
And he got Mr. Twat's profile.
Right.
And he thought to himself, well, I don't want to ring up the phone and say, "Hello, is that Mr. Twat?" I don't want to do that. So he was like, right, what I'll do, I'll say, "Is that Mr. Twait?" Just in case it's different pronunciation.
Yeah, fair enough.
So he rings up and says, "Oh, hello, is Mr. Twait there?" At which point the guy says, "Oh, it's me, it's pronounced Mr. Twat." At which point he said he had to hang up because he was just laughing too much. Because that's exactly what I would have done, is try to go right. But if someone on the phone to you says, "Oh no, actually my name is Mr. Twat," you're gonna hang up the phone and laugh. And if he hears you laughing, he's gonna think it's a prank call, and this poor guy must get this so much.
Oh dear.
But yeah, I thought that was brilliant. I thought that was absolutely fantastic.
What's the best name you've come across?
I've come across Mr. Bastard. I came across a Mr. Eccleston, and when I rang this person, it wasn't B. Eccleston, so definitely it was not that Bernie Eccleston's a farmer, but it wasn't Bernie Eccleston. But I rang it up, hopefully thinking that I'd be put through to Bernie Eccleston, and the guy on the end of the phone said, "Oh, actually, I think you're looking for a different Mr. Eccleston. He's not here right now." He did sound a little bit like Bernie Eccleston, but I wasn't going to go, "Is that Bernie?" So, yeah, that's what happens. If a famous name comes up, I automatically think I want like Mr. M. Baker to come up, because I know Matt Baker from Blue Peter is a farmer.
Is he oh, right, yeah.
Well,
of course.
he has a farm.
Yeah.
So there's every chance that he's on our database. So
have a look through the database next time.
Look for a Mr. M. Baker. How brilliant would that be? If I got to survey Matt Baker. I mean, you might hate me, but...
I love you on Blue Peter. Please don't hang up. I have a job to do.
I saw you in the bus for the Olympic torch in Durham. I loved you on Country File. I think you were brilliant on the One Show. I voted for you on Strictly. I know too much about Matt Baker.
You do?
Yeah. Oh well.
Are there any more topics that you want to cover?
I think that's all that I wanted to cover. Were there any more topics that you wanted to cover?
Just like round up. Chris and I have been playing The Walking Dead. It's pretty damn good.
Oh, it's fantastic.
It's a good game, and I'm gonna put the videos up at some point. I don't know when. I have to edit them first. But yeah, that's happening. And more D&D is going up on the channel, because that's funny as fuck. Because everyone's ridiculous. And have a nice day. Yeah, have a nice day.
Oh, small thing quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Number one, today was the third instalment of Will Josh Be Up at 11 a.m. Today I went for a different move of I walked in the door, spoke to Josh's mum, realised that Josh wasn't awake, poked my head through, took a picture, and then left rather than wait around for him.
Fair enough.
But I will be playing it next week again. Secondly, I think Josh, I'm going to say this publicly, needs to realise that he's never going to get to sit on his comfortable chair when we do these podcasts, because I will always get there first, and if he tries to wrestle me off the chair, I will cling on for dear life.
Okay. Should we explain what this is quickly?
I think it's pretty self-explanatory. You want the chair, you're not getting the chair. I cling to the chair. You can try and pull me off the chair.
Every bloody week he steals my chair.
Well, you get
And
up.
this
It's
week
the 3
I
second
thought
rule.
I'd try and get it back. I did get it back, but then we went and had some food, and when we came back, I wasn't thinking. He just fucking jumped on it.
And I'm sitting on the chair backwards so that I can wrap my legs around the base of the chair and cling onto the back of the chair, so that you cannot pull me off this chair now.
I'll find a way next week. Anyway, this is the end of the podcast, so there's no point now. We will talk to you next week. Thanks for listening, and as always,
What?
Stuff.
As always, what?
I don't know. What do we normally do? Say goodbye.
We just say goodbye over and over again,
Oh,
and then the music comes in.
what, like this?
Goodbye. Bye bye. Cue music.
Cue the music. Bye.
Any idea who that is? It's not Mr. Hanky. I have no idea who that is.
Mr. Potato
Yeah,
Head?
it must be, mustn't it?
I don't think it is, though.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Okay, fine.
Who else is that knows? Oh, that was
Astro Boy.
No, it's not. It's Jack Jack
Oh,
from
Incredibles.
The Incredibles.
Right.
Alvin. Are the next two Simon and Theodore by any chance?
You know their names.
Alvin, Simon and Theodore. Oh, they're not, but yeah, that's other names. Freddy Krueger?
No, that's the guy with the claw hand
Ah,
from Friday the 13th.
then no. It's from Popeye.
Oh,
Wench. What's Wench's name? I don't know.
Wendy?
Wendy the
No.
Wench.
I don't think that's her full name, but
Will Wendy do?
I
No,
don't
it's
know
not
whether it's Wendy.
Ah, that's Big Bird.
Uh,
Snowy
Snowy. Yeah,
from Tintin.
I like Snowy. I used to love Tintin. Didn't realise it was a tiny bit racist when I was young.
Only a little bit.
Yeah, only a little bit, but still.
Shall we stop playing and do the podcast?
Nope.
Yes, I think we shall. That's Tarzan.
That's Leia. Not Leia.
Leela.
Leela.
Yeah, that's Beavis or Butthead. It's Marge and Lisa, Harry Potter, Dora the Explorer.
No, it's not Dora the Explorer. That's
Dora
one
the-
of the Powerpuff Girls.
No, that was Dora the Explorer.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Dora could be a Powerpuff Girl. You don't know that.
Brian Griffin. That's Simba.
Who?
Simba.
Who?
Simba. Simba, you must
Who?
go to the dickness. Simba.
From what?
Simba is part of the Rebel Alliance and a traitor.
Yeah, but
From The Lion King. Simba's dad, Mufasa, is the same as James L. Jones, who's also Darth Vader.
right, okay.
Simba. Because there's a bit which, when I went to see it in 3D, and there was a bit where Mufasa is like very disappointed in Simba, and they're having a bit of an argument. And in my head, all I could hear was, "You are part of the Rebel Alliance and a traitor. Take him away." Do you introduce the podcast? Do it right this time.
Right then.